Let me thank you for joining us today here in one of the greatest campuses of learning in the world, UCLA. And it's not a bad place to be on an August day. I'm here joined by David Zaft, one of our phenomenal attorneys at the California Department of Justice. And we're here to talk to you about keeping a place like this as you see it for our kids into the future, where they can breathe the air and feel comfortable. So far this year, more than 332,000 acres of California lands have burned. As we speak, 18 fires rage in our state. At least 9 people have died, including 4 firefighters, and more than 1,500 homes and structures have burned. Most of these fires have yet to be contained. Those 332,000 acres that have burned, well, most of that's occurred before what we call fire season has even started. That's typically the month of August. Let me take you back 7 months ago. Then it was torrential rains, flooding, and mudslides that were devastating our states and our neighborhoods. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the earth is not flat and climate change is real. Can someone please inform the folks at the White House and our federal government of those facts? The pollution you see in our skies, and I have heard several people already this morning say to me that we've got a great day today here in Los Angeles when it comes to pollution. But you can still see the haze, mild as it might be compared to previous generations. That pollution is generating and fueling death and destruction, just as that which we're witnessing in Redding, Yosemite Valley, Mendocino, and Lake counties. Now, California is about progress and 21st century innovation and technology. We're not about backsliding. And California is not about last century's old ways of doing business. We don't want to keep repeating the fires and the mudslides that frighten all of us, that devastate our families. We don't want to see that continue forward. We don't want to see it occur again next year. We want to address these things. And in terms of energy, clean standards, for California at least, mean new jobs and better ways. On the other hand, weakening and freezing standards for us in California means backsliding to old days and old dirty ways of doing business. Ladies and gentlemen, the clock doesn't stop. Neither do our competitors abroad. If we stop innovating on energy solutions, we'll find ourselves importing our competitors' technology and exporting American jobs. That's why, when it comes to cleaner vehicles, the state of California has been the leader, bar none, for the last several decades. 13 states, I should mention, total. So 12 states have joined California in issuing higher emission standards for new cars sold within these various states. But today, the EPA and the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration issued a proposal to eviscerate common sense federal vehicle emission standards, standards that protect our health, our environment, and save consumers money at the pump. The proposed rule from the federal government, if adopted, will make cars less fuel efficient and allow them to spew more harmful pollution. Who pays for this reckless action by the Trump administration? We do, at the pump and with our health. That's why, in contrast to the Trump administration, here in California, along with the auto industry serving our state, we're making steady progress toward things like benchmarks for zero-emission vehicles, Zero-emission vehicles in California have now reached 5% of sales of all vehicles that day-to-day we're selling in California. That's why here in California, even the trucking industry has rebelled against the Trump administration's EPA backsliding on something called the glider rule. That's a rule in place that keeps old-style, dirty, diesel-burning, heavy-duty trucks off of our roads. Because, let the trucking industry tell you, because if you would allow those dirty diesel-burning fuel trucks on the road, it would amount to costly and unfair competition for the rest of the trucking industry for them to try to compete against cheaper, heavy-polluting trucks. And fortunately, because of the efforts of California, several states, and industries like the trucking industry, the EPA recently backed down from trying to gut the glider rule. And so, let's understand something. What we're talking about today is not the first time the Trump administration, the EPA, NHTSA have tried to undermine our ability to have cleaner cars, cleaner standards for the rest of the nation. Acting Administrator Wheeler's proposal today uses trumped-up numbers to support their proposed and drastic changes to clean car standards. Here are EPA's own numbers when it comes to clean car standards. And until Acting Administrator Wheeler and the EPA can refute them, these are the numbers that count when it comes to setting our nation's and California's clean car standards. The federal standard the states are suing to protect, that standard that's in place today is estimated to reduce carbon pollution equivalent to 134 coal power plants burning for a year. And it's estimated to save drivers throughout the country $1,650 per vehicle. Now, most parents here in Los Angeles would tell you that they prefer driving vehicles that pollute less, get 40 or more miles per gallon, rather than having to administer 2.5 milligrams of albuterol to their kids who contract asthma because of air pollution. Fighting for 21st century clean car standards is about our children's health. It's about the future for jobs for our people, and it's about the future of prosperity here at home for everyone. And it's about a strong economy. And finally, yes, it's also about protecting the air and natural resources in our state, our country, and the planet. That's why California will do whatever it takes to maintain today's clean car standards. And that's why so many of our sister states have joined California in this fight. And so we're here to announce today that regardless of what the Trump administration, EPA, and NHTSA propose to do, we intend to stand firm and protect the existing clean car standards that our nation has in place. And California will protect its waiver to continue to lead the fight to have cleaner air and cleaner burning vehicles. Okay, I appreciate that very much. Thank you all very much.